Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. We've got a super fascinating and honestly incredibly timely topic to unpack today. We're diving right into artificial intelligence in our school districts. And look, let's just set the stage right out of the gate here. AI is already in your schools. Seriously, whether your district officially rolled out the red carpet for it, sent out some congratulatory memo, or even tried aggressively to block it at the firewall, it's there. It's the student pulling up an app to solve a complex math equation on the bus ride home. It's that exhausted teacher, at 11 p.m., quietly having an AI auto-generate a quiz rubric so they can finally go to sleep. And it's the parents showing up at board meetings, genuinely asking what the game plan is for their kids' futures. So, the technology? It's not knocking at the door anymore. It's already sitting at a desk in the classroom. Because of that, we urgently need a massive reality check on what being ready for all of this actually means. For the longest time, the whole conversation has been trapped by this one completely obsolete question. Should we adopt AI? Well, the reality from our source material tells us that choice, it was already made for us. It was made by the students, by the teachers, and by a world that's just moving forward at lightning speed. The debate over whether to let it in is officially over. The real question, really the only one that actually matters now, is, are we ready to guide how it's already being used? We have to completely shift our mindset. We need to move away from this posture of prevention and blocking and step up into a posture of active, thoughtful guidance. All right, let's get into Section 1, Busting the Readiness Myth, or what readiness is not. First up, readiness is definitely not a giant, bureaucratic policy binder just collecting dust on somebody's desk. We all know the exact one I'm talking about, right? The 40-page AI policy that a committee painstakingly drafts over 6 long months, they finally finalize it, and then absolutely nobody reads it. Having a dense document does not mean your district is prepared. Actually, because this tech is evolving literally week by week, those rigid, hyper-specific policies, they're usually obsolete the second they hit the printer. A binder on a shelf isn't going to help a teacher confidently handle a student who's debating a hallucinated fact from a chatbot right in the middle of a history lesson. Readiness is also for sure not sitting back and waiting. It's not just crossing your fingers and hoping the storm somehow passes your district by. It's not waiting for some hallway rumor about a deepfake to spiral completely out of control, or waking up one morning to find out an entire senior class used chatbots to write their college admission essays. True readiness is about intentional planning. It's about getting ahead of it, not scrambling to put out a fire just because a viral local news story caught district leadership totally off guard. There's this quote from the research that I just love, and it perfectly captures the paradigm shift we desperately need to make right now. It says, readiness is closer to a fitness level than a certification. I mean, really think about that for a second. Readiness isn't some permanent pass-fail test where you sit through one single professional development day, get a shiny PDF certificate, and declare, boom, we did it, we're AI ready forever. No way. It's an ongoing state of adaptability. Just like physical fitness, right? Some days you're a bit sore and you struggle to keep up, and other days you're breaking personal records. Some departments in your school are going to be way ahead of the curve and some are going to lag behind. That unevenness is completely normal. It's not a failure, it's just part of the ongoing journey of staying fit. So, what actually is AI readiness then? Well, it boils down to this: having the people, the processes, and the judgment in place to make good decisions as AI shows up in classrooms. Notice what's glaringly absent from that definition. The word technology. Yeah, readiness isn't about rushing out to buy $1 million software suite or piloting some flashy new chatbot in the front office. It's a deeply human endeavor, focused squarely on building good judgment. Because at the end of the day, human judgment and critical thinking will always outpace whatever software firewall you can buy. Okay, Section 2, the messy middle. And honestly, this is where most districts actually find themselves right now. In practice, a lot of districts are split right down the middle, kind of trapped in this chaotic dynamic. Over on one side, in the classrooms, you have these pockets of super enthusiastic early adoption. Teachers and students are diving right in. But it's often this quiet, under-the-radar usage. It's basically a shadow IT system running on personal devices. Meanwhile, flip over to the central office, and leadership is stuck in this nervous wait-and-see posture. They haven't set clear expectations, mostly because they're terrified of making the wrong move. So the result? Teachers are completely in the dark about what leadership actually wants, and leadership has absolutely no clue what's genuinely happening on the ground in their own classrooms. There is zero shared vocabulary. And here's why that's so dangerous. The real risk isn't the AI tech itself. The real risk is this massive communication gap where nobody is talking to each other, which just allows bad habits and anxiety to fester in a vacuum. Let's look at Section 3,
4 signs of readiness. These are the indicators that you're actually on the right track. According to the source material, escaping that messy middle, it doesn't take magic, it really just comes down to 4 distinct, observable signs. If a district is managing this transition well and genuinely building up that AI fitness level we talked about, you're going to see these 4 pillars in action. Sign number 1, someone actually owns the conversation. Look, readiness starts with absolute clarity about who is responsible for AI decisions. Now, this doesn't mean you need to go out and hire some highly paid AI czar to dictate every single move, but there has to be a clear, unambiguous point of coordination. Let me ask you this. If a teacher has a major concern about a new AI tool tomorrow morning, do they know exactly who to email? If the answer is no, then nobody owns the conversation. In struggling districts, AI questions just bounce aimlessly between the IT department, curriculum directors, and the superintendent's office, and nobody is actually holding the steering wheel. Sign number 2 is about providing real guidance, not just warnings. Putting a one-line mandate in a syllabus that says, "Don't let students use ChatGPT to cheat," that isn't guidance. That's just an anxiety statement. It tells teachers what they should be afraid of, not what they should actually do. Ready districts operate completely differently. They give practical, concrete direction. They sit down with educators and say, okay, here is what is appropriate, here is what is not, and most importantly, here is exactly how you redesign that 9th grade writing assignment so it still measures real, human learning, even when generative AI is literally just a click away. Sign number 3 is having a clear process for evaluating new tools. Right now, practically every single edtech vendor on the market is desperately pitching an AI-powered version of their product. But just slapping the letters AI onto an existing tool doesn't magically make it better for teaching. A Ready district has a baseline process in place to cut right through all that marketing noise and ask the really tough questions. They ask things like, what specific student data does this tool collect? What is the real risk of the AI giving biased or just totally inaccurate info to a struggling reader? And crucially, does this actually improve our educational outcomes, or does it just add a fleshy, super expensive new feature that we don't even need? And sign number 4, leadership treats this as a multi-year process, not just a single decision. Districts that are acting out of pure anxiety tend to look for a quick one-time fix, They want a single committee vote to just make the whole issue go away forever. But remember that fitness analogy from earlier? You don't go to the gym one time and declare yourself fit for the rest of your life. Districts that succeed here treat AI exactly like they treat literacy instruction or school safety protocols. It's woven into the ongoing fabric of the district. It means returning to it, revising the approach, and intentionally improving that muscle memory every single year. Which brings us to Section 4, the crucial first step for moving forward. So, how do you actually step out of the messy middle starting today? The single highest leverage first step isn't drafting some sprawling policy, and it is absolutely not purchasing new software licenses. It is conducting an honest, unflinching assessment of where your district actually stands right now. Any successful readiness work has to be deeply rooted in your present reality, not just some panicked reaction to whatever is in the news cycle this week. You have to know exactly where your starting line is before you can even think about running the race. And that honest assessment, it needs to look very closely at 4 specific areas. First, teaching practice. Are your educators using AI secretly in the evenings, or are they openly collaborating and sharing prompts in the staff room? Second, leadership. Is the school board fully aligned with your building principles, or are they sending mixed signals? Third, infrastructure. Are your current privacy safeguards and acceptable use policies updated to handle the unique, very specific risks of generative models? And finally, fourth, community trust. Are you bringing parents into this conversation early on, or are you just keeping them in the dark until something goes wrong? Analyzing these 4 pillars gives you a crystal clear map of exactly what your next, most reasonable step should be. And that brings us to our final critical thought for this explainer. I want you to really think about your own context for a second. Are you waiting for a crisis, like a cheating scandal, a data breach, or some embarrassing viral moment to force your hand? Or are you ready to step up, own the conversation, and intentionally build your district's AI fitness today? The technology isn't waiting in the wings anymore. It is already fully integrated into the lives of your students, and it's sitting at the desks in your classrooms. The only real question left to answer is, when will your people, your processes, and your human judgment catch up? Thank you so much for joining me to explore this incredibly vital topic. Now it's time to start those conversations in your own districts.